So I'm out running errands, and one of the things that I mentioned in a previous video was that I needed to start just recording just to get my thoughts off. And one of the reasons I like to do this is because it's unscripted. I'm not in my studio, and it's just straight to the point and just my thoughts in general. And I think it's more real when it comes off that way, right? It's like I'm having a conversation with you guys out there. And one of the things that I was really thinking about was how being comfortable with being uncomfortable is the key to success. And I started to think about this from a bunch of different angles. And I'll go over a couple of those guys with you guys, just as I'm thinking about them as I'm out, running my errands right now. And the very first thing that I can think of was just in my career. So I've held various roles throughout corporate America over the last 20 plus years. And each one of those roles that I got myself into, I really felt extremely uncomfortable in those roles at the very beginning because it was new. I had to put myself out there. I had to put myself in a position to potentially fail, like put myself out there and fail in front of everyone. And one of the reasons that I think that I was able to succeed was that I didn't let being uncomfortable bother me or stop me from being able to do what I needed to do, to get noticed, to be seen, to do the work that needed to be done. And one of the things that I often tell people is that once you get to a point to where you are extremely comfortable with failing, not only just failing, but failing in public with everyone being able to see your failures, that's when you really start to unlock the key to success. Now, when we talk about financials, right? I remember when I first started to learn how to invest in the market, I had a lot of fear. And that fear was from years of people telling me to stay away from the market. You just need to save your money, and you only need to worry about investing in a 401k. And that's going to be your key to being able to retire. And when I sit back and I think about that, that's what the average person does, or the average person strives to do. And we talked about this a lot on my channel. There's nothing wrong with being average, but I don't want to be average. I've always wanted to be above average. Even whenever I was growing up and we didn't have a lot of money, we moved around a lot, and I had a lot less than most of the people that I grew up with in my neighborhood, and absolutely less than any of my friends had. But one thing that I did have was I had a desire to actually strive for greatness, at least greatness for me, right? Greatness is different for everybody. But throughout my entire life, I've had to always take the uncomfortable route. Everything that I have, I had to work for. I had to work extremely hard for it, and it was never given to me. But when I first started to invest, I just remember I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to look for. People were talking with all this lingo that I didn't understand, and I was just afraid. And once I actually jumped in there and I started to understand that a lot of the things that people talk about when it comes to investing is just noise that's used to make them sound smarter than they really are, I really started to get it. And that's one of the reasons I started the $5 a day investment challenge on my channel, because I wanted to show people that anybody can use the market in order to help to bridge the gap between, if you have a 401k or you have a business or you have a pension or whatever you may have, you can use the market to bridge the gap in between the money that you're making in your 401k or whatever else you have going on and the investment account. And a lot of you guys have jumped in. A lot of you guys have left me comments on those videos letting me know you're going to jump in, or you didn't think that investing $100 a month would be enough to get you started. And I often tell people it's absolutely enough to get you started, but you shouldn't be satisfied with that. You have to be able to use that uncomfortableness when you're first starting out and use that to build to something greater. right? So maybe you start out with $100 and within 6 months, you figured out how to raise that to $150. Maybe you figured out how to raise it to $200. The goal is to continue to push yourself beyond your comfort level. Just think about all the times you felt comfortable or you've gotten comfortable with a routine. It just seems like extremely monotonous, and you have to try to get yourself out of a rut. And that's because you're just so comfortable with that routine. And anytime something uncomfortable comes up in your life, you might have some anxiety about it. You might have some worry about it, but your adrenaline pumps, right? When something new is in your life or something new that you're striving to do, your adrenaline just starts to pump and you feel rejuvenated. At least I do. And that's the way I've always approached it, because I understood that the people that are comfortable and stay comfortable, they stay stuck. They stay in the same place. And that may be okay for some people, but like I've always said, that's not something that I wanted to do for myself. So I just wanted to jump on here, make a very quick video, just get my thoughts off and let you guys know that there's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. You should really push yourself for that. Push yourself to be uncomfortable as much as possible.